Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. I've wanted an excuse to do an AEW video for quite a while now, but this past week's Dynamite was the perfect excuse. What a fun show we had on Dynamite this week. The fun has been brought back into professional wrestling. I don't think we have enough of just the fun times these days. Everything feels so serious, or it feels sometimes that you look around and say, this just isn't right, it was not booked well creatively, just not connecting well. This show that was on Dynamite this past week not only connected well with an audience from perspective in my point of view, it also brought some fun back to professional wrestling. And there were so many great things to go through this show. So I'm sort of giving a bit of a review for this show of AEW's Dynamite we just had this past week. But I'm going to talk about the fun elements in particular. And I'm going to start off with the Falls Count Anywhere. Not at the start of the show, it's actually halfway through the show. But Butcher and the Blade, the tech team, I must admit, I've not really been so high on in their time in AEW, not because of the fact of them personally, but because they've been more presented like jobbers rather than actually a threat to someone that could be a champion in the tag team division against the Young Bucks. And this has been sort of building nicely over a number of weeks where we've had teases with FTR facing Butcher and the Blade, and then it's sort of crossed over with the Lucha Bros, and we've had 8-man tags with those 4 teams, and now we've had these in a Falls Count Anywhere, which actually started in a kitchen, of course, with the Butcher and the Blade, just to have a little fun element to go to start off with, and it just went everywhere. It was quite fun to watch. We see, like, steak being thrown around in the kitchen, not good if you're a vegan, but at the same time, you look and say it goes flying around the ringside area, like go outside of the arena. They went to the trucks area. Nick Jackson got thrown to his own face on the back of the truck or the side of the truck, whereabouts it was. There was a super kick, and you see the Blade going up an escalator, which I thought was rather fun. It brawled its way through to the ringside area. We had table spots around the ring. Yes, all right, the Blade actually missed the table when he went flying over the top rope. That could have been disastrous, but in its own weird way, he was fine, so it was quite entertaining. And you sort of just, towards the end of the match as well, the 2 table spots on the entranceway, we see the super kicks and Butcher and Blade placed on the tables, and then both the Bucks come flying off the top of the entranceways. Very reminiscent of the Royal Rumble 2000, Jeff Hardy frying himself off through a Dudley Boy. And it really it took me back. It was so much fun. It was like watching the old hardcore divisions back 20 years ago. Like I say, that Rumble match come to mind watching this. It just epitomised everything that is fun and what I look for in a wrestling show, because we want to see our classic one-on-one encounters. We want to see, those serious moments, and there were some serious moments in this show as well, which I will go to very shortly, because we like a good bit of variety. But this right here was a match that for me is really going to stand out when I look back at my favourite matches of AEW, because it's everything that I want in a wrestling. I want to be distracted. I want to be taken away from the real world, especially with what's gone on in 2020. And to watch a match like this, I don't know, I felt young again. I felt like I was watching something that I've been crying out for and wanting for a long time. So I want to say kudos to those 2 teams. I thought they did a fantastic job. Let's talk about the serious elements and how they built things in the show. We had the open challenge from Cody, and I like when we get an outsider because it's fun, because we've got someone new coming in, and they've probably got a chance, like Ricky Starks did a number of weeks ago, to perhaps fight and get themselves a job, or he did on that night. And I really hope Eddie Kingston has got himself one here as well, because he was the surprise entrant. I think it took a lot of people by surprise, and I must admit, I've seen a fair bit of Eddie Kingston's work. I'm not going to preach and say I've seen all of his 18-year career, because I haven't. I've probably been aware of his work for the last 4 or 5 years. I remember him coming into Impact Wrestling. He was a part of a stable, I think, when I first saw him, with James Storm and Bram at the time. Of course, another 2 guys in NWA at the moment. It's probably not a good sign for NWA that another superstar from their roster has come along, with the rumours that the company could be stopping. I hope that that's not true. But Eddie Kingston here came in, and I've seen him in different elements and different mindsets. But he was on his own. He's always been in a stable or a team. I know he's been in Evolve as well. But here he came out. He had the mic, which for me has always been the strongest point of Eddie Kingston. I think he's a great promo. And here, he didn't just deliver. He absolutely nailed it. He put everything in perspective of what you needed, the groundwork to build a match for a couple of minutes as well. We didn't get a 20-minute promo. We had about 3 or 4 minutes. He had his say. He was passionate. He was aggressive. And he made you believe He was fighting for every part of that was his opportunity, and he was not going to let it slip. It was something so special. And the match as well was talked into a no DQ match. I love the fact that the match wasn't overbooked either. I think there can be a criticism with occasional Cody matches being overbooked, in my opinion. This was built perfectly. And as well, we've had the teases for a Cody heel turn for a little while with some heel tactics in here. This was just a simple no DQ match. So it didn't really kind of factor into this match. And I thought it was nice to have a little bit of a break from it. Cody just felt like the full-on babyface because he's done some great work as a babyface. And I'm not sure, even though I think Cody is a fantastic heel watching his work in Ring of Honor a few years ago, I'm still not ready for the Cody heel turn just yet. And this match here had thumbtacks with the no DQ stipulation, which I thought was, again, a fun element to a serious match. But we got a great result here. Cody finding a way to retain with a figure four leg lock. I just thought this was a solid opener. It was a great way of the direction of where to come. MJF, again, providing a bit of fun. Getting himself over with a heel heat, taking on, arguably the Jopper, which I believe his name was Griffin, or was Griff Garrison, I believe was his name. And, not literally just beating this guy up, but getting him to admit on the microphone that MJF is undefeated. It just was perfect heel heat. It felt fresh, and again, it had an element of being fun. And for me, that's what captured me in this show. I like the fact we had a great explanation, made perfect sense with Taz and Brian Cage, and it wasn't going to happen again with Taz throwing in the towel for Brian Cage if he gets another championship match. I like the fact that Moxie, bigged up the decision as well, and how he wanted to put Cage on the shelf as well. It feels this program's not just finished yet, but we've got Darby Allin, of course, included. Ricky Stark seems to be a new prodigy who's going to be managed by Taz. I like the fact that it's building into a little stable, and they kind of fit together as well, Ricky Starks and Cage as well. I liked the way that this built for our Tornado tag match next week. I thought it was something special. I liked as well, I'm going to have to say more things I liked. I love the fact that we had more women on the show that were actually introduced here, because I felt that AEW has needed more women in their division. Eva Lise is a fantastic female superstar. I've enjoyed her work in Lucha Underground previously. I know she's been involved with an occasional appearance in AEW before. I hope it's going to stick and she's going to stick around this time and not go anywhere. Diamante, she picked up the victory. I was surprised she won. I did think that this was more for me for Eva Lise to win, but hey, you're building someone up. The only minor critique I was saying here is that Diamante is going to be taking on Hikaru Shida next week, and I think it's a bit soon to take on the champion. I just feel that maybe it's a 1 week build, perhaps a jobbing next week for her. So I'm hoping that's not really the case, but it would have been nice to see it built over at least a few weeks rather than just going straight in. As well, I'm not a big fan of the Dark Order. I've always kind of felt that, but we speak of the Dark Order and we speak of Eddie Kingston earlier on. I think Eddie Kingston would be perfect for the Dark Order. I think this is the direction the Dark Order needs to go in for me, rather than having this sort of, frontline soldiers, these numbers. I like the idea that they can move themselves up the pecking order, but they all just seem to be jobbers. They all seem to be about 150 pounds, and they seem to get squashed by whoever they face. I'd like to see the Dark Order start getting members in of people that are kind of lost in the shuffle, like a Colt Cabana. I like the story they're telling with that. I think Eddie Kingston, someone who's desperate to get in, his foot in the door, could be so well convinced by Brody Lee to come and be that part of the Dark Order. I think that it would be quite a fitting member for the stable. I think they need some more creditable names within that stable. But I like the fact we've got Stu Grayson back. I like the Evil Uno's back as well. And we finally, because Dark Order were the number one team ready for the Tag Team Championship match, they're built up nicely with Hangman Page, and to keep as well future storylines going forward with this as well, all rolled into one. I love that Brody Lee come in after Hangman Page had destroyed, member number 5 of the Dark Order. And Brody Lee said, well, look, you're massively outnumbered here. We've got 5 guys on the ramp. I'm here. You're clearly outnumbered. Where's your tag team partner? You should be a part of the Dark Order. And Hangman Page, just like me, not in the mood to join a cult anytime soon. And he said no politely to the Dark Order and to Brody Lee, the Exalted One. And of course, it looked like it was going to be bad for Hangman Page, but instead of Kenny Omega coming out, we got FTR to come and make the save. Of course, the previous week they were drinking together backstage. Kenny Omega was nowhere to be found until it was too late. He did come down, but it was miles too late. So it does play to all those storylines as well. So I just think that it's been such clever work here done, and I think praise needs to be given where it should be. I do like the main event as well. The main event was fine with Jericho and Hager against Jungle Express as well. Okay, it was a solid tag team match, but I think that the gem here was that we got a return as well. Sammy Guevara coming back, of course, has had time off due to some controversial comments, but now he's back in the fold now. The Inner Circle is at full strength, and of course the Inner Circle is a lot stronger when Sammy Guevara is a part of it, and it's always exciting when you get a return. It feels like a headline towards the end of the show, and of course the demo god Chris Jericho, I'm sure, would have won the demo with the main event segment as well this week, of course, comparing it to NXT. So overall, I just thought this week AEW had such a great Dynamite. I think it was a fun show. I think it's what they should be aiming to do constantly. And I think, to be fair, AEW over the last number of months have actually really continued the momentum they've had going into lockdown and doing their best to put on a good show each and every week. I mean, of course, we had the Double or Nothing show with a great Stadium Stampede match and other great matches on the show as well. They've carried through with that momentum through Fight Fest and Fight for the Fallen. We're now heading towards All Out, and I think that judging on how this is going, we've got a great show lined up. And we've not even mentioned Britt Baker. She's a star each and every week. Every time she goes talking backstage injured, she has found a way to be the most over female, despite the fact that she's not even wrestling at this particular moment. One minor thing for the women's match, by the way, we did a Big Swole have an interview segment from her hotel, it looked like, at the same time during the women's match. Perhaps puts a little bit less influence on the women that are in the ring, didn't make them look as important. I would have preferred the Big Swole thing to be before or after the match, but that's just a little nitpick. Overall, like I say, AEW is showing how to make a fun wrestling show right now, and I want to see this continue in other directions with other companies as well. It feels that there's a number of companies that are doing good stuff right now, but I really wanted to give a big praise to AEW because I just, like I said, I've been waiting for the right time to put the right video out, the right moment, and I think especially that Falls Count Anywhere match really felt nostalgic. It really took me back. It made me feel like I was 20 years younger watching this product, and I just, for me, I'm glad with that escape, and I want to see more of that going forward, because yes, you could say it had a nostalgia and it felt a bit like a throwback, but it was fresh, it was exciting, it was with the new faces, and I felt like I was watching something different at the same time. So it's taking something that was good of the old and making it current, and I think that that's something that maybe you could argue that maybe other companies are lacking of right now. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, share as well with a friend. Let them know about SCW and spread the word. I'll be aiming to do more videos, of course, touching on AEW. I talk about Impact, WWE. All of them are covered here on this particular channel, so do keep an eye out on it. And I look to do more AEW videos going forward as well. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. This has been SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and have a great day.